All right. Thumbs up for the day. Tried to tilt here a little so the sunlight isn't blaring too much on the video, and I'll try to do one of these numbers a little bit every once in a while, maybe block it. Um, so today we're on chapter 9 still. We'll be reading Jesus Forbids Sectarianism. Weird word. Okay, and that will be 49 and 50. So here we go. Now John answered and said, Master, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we forbade him, because he does not follow us. But Jesus said to him, Do not forbid him, for he who is not against us is on our side. Just a couple of words, and yet there's some really deep stuff there. It hopefully is kind of hitting you a little bit, making you think a little bit, seeing what God's trying to put on your heart today, instead of listening to what others are telling you it should say, or what others think it should say, or what you should be thinking. I want you to think about it. My words should be helpful to get your brain moving, but you need to come up with this on your own. You need to choose to see what God is trying to show you in your life, because I can't put your surroundings, your emotions, your feelings, your situations that you get into throughout the day, I can't put them into perspective for you, because I could never accomplish 100% of seeing things through your eyes. You are the only one that can see it through your eyes, the fullness of it. You're the only one that can have that 100% communication with God. And I can be a small part of that, hopefully a little spark to get your brain, your heart, your emotions, your soul, the whole kit and caboodle just kind of starting to turn. But you are the one that has to feel out the question that God's trying to show you, the rounding out of circumstances that God is trying to do in your life, so that your circumstances don't dictate how you think, react, how your emotions run. It's all about you. I just want to try to put out there, like I said, that little spark. So, after reading that scripture, the heading that I had, because I had also looked at a different Bible, is also anyone not against us is for us, which is sort of this sectarianism thing. Google it. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole extra thing. But Google sectarianism. Sectarian ism. Sectarianism. Google it. Okay. Are you telling me things that I already know? How often do you think people are against you when they are not against you? Now, the first question is more for Jesus. Like, Jesus is saying, Brandon, come on. Are you telling me something I don't already know? Like, he's God. He knows. He gets it. He's there. You can't tell him something new. So why are you bringing things up to him that he already knows? Now, that's not meant for prayer. That thought is not meant for asking him for guidance and saying, like, Lord, what is happening here, what is going on. It's more like, Lord, don't you see that people are suffering in this world? He says, why are you telling me this? I already know that. And he turns around and says, that's why I created you. You are the answer to that. Why aren't you seeing the suffering, seeing beyond the suffering in this world and doing something about it? It can be turned back around. Often those questions can be turned back around. When you pray and you discuss things, it's opening that dialogue. It's opening that path of communication with him. So your questions and your pointing out of what's going on around you should be for that purpose of creating that dialogue with him. It should not be a kind of control. It's like if you're already telling him things he already knows so that you get things to happen. That's not going to work. That question go kind of deep. I'm going to kind of stop there because it's a hard one for me to feel out in my mind because it's not a simple one to understand that God knows everything already, and not saying, well, he already knows, so why bother? It's finding that balance is difficult and might be a lifelong thing to work on. Maybe sometime later I'll get that epiphany moment and we'll come back to that. But let's just stay with that. So the next part of that is, how often do you think people are against you when they are not against you? I come across this a lot throughout the day, that there's these thoughts and bombarded things that I see that aren't necessarily 100% true, and my whatever communication with the evil of this world is always trying to put it in my face of something that it's not. Then you start thinking, well, they must be thinking this, or they did something, so you're guessing as to why they did it, and it's always a destructive answer. It's never a helpful, they were helping me, they were trying, good for them thing. It's more like, why are they doing that? They shouldn't be doing that. I don't even know why they're thinking. What am I even here? This is stupid. They can do it themselves. Those thoughts, they're not as great anymore for me, but they definitely consumed a large part of my working life. And everyone works. Even if you don't have a job, you're still doing something around the house. Believe it or not, it takes a lot of work to just sit down and do nothing. It's a lot of inner work. It's not necessarily outer work, but it takes a lot of work to do that. Even if you think it's the simple way, it's actually just as difficult, especially for those who are really motivated in life. Sitting down is like, nail biter, I can't do this anymore, I gotta get up and do something. Often those people, including myself, have trouble with meditation. So meditation kind of helps bring that balance. But how often do you, in your life, with the people you work with the people you see, help, walk past, drive past, interact with in different places, how often do you think that they're doing something inappropriate or wrong and you're judging them, but they're not? Because you don't know the full gamut of what they're actually doing. So that's another deep one. There's two deep ones. I'm just going to read them again, leave it with that. Are you telling me things that I already know? And how often do you think people are against you when they are not against you? So, with that in mind, I hope you get all the blessings that you don't deserve today, and maybe a few that you do. Until next time, have a wonderful day.